As Tom Watson, IBM's founder, once said, the way to accelerate your success is to double your failure rate.
But when you fail, that's when you learn.
Bonjour à tous, c'est Corentin de Twitch, j'espère que vous allez bien. Le thème de la vidéo d'aujourd'hui, c'est l'importance de la persévérance. Et c'est un thème important parce que trop souvent, on est élevé pour croire que l'échec c'est quelque chose de négatif et que si tu échoues, c'est quelque chose qui ne va pas avec toi réellement. Pourtant, quand on étudie la vie des plus grands entrepreneurs, on se rend compte que quasi l'intégralité d'entre eux ont échoué plusieurs fois avant de réussir. Et on se rend même compte que souvent, les échecs qu'ils ont connus, c'est quelque chose qui leur a permis d'apprendre les leçons nécessaires afin de réussir dans le futur. Donc c'est un thème réellement important de se mettre en tête que échouer, ce n'est pas la fin du monde. Et qu'on peut échouer et on a le droit de se relever. Ce qui compte réellement, c'est d'apprendre. Et que si on apprend de chacun de ces échecs, on finira par réussir. Ça, c'est sûr et certain. Donc la persévérance, c'est réellement un des attributs les plus importants d'une personne qui a du succès dans la vie. Donc tout de suite, je te laisse en compagnie de ces grands entrepreneurs qui vont t'expliquer par eux-mêmes les échecs qu'ils ont pu connaître à travers leur carrière.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
I think too many people think they have to find the one idea, and there's nothing wrong with failing. You know, I've told a lot of people, it doesn't matter how many times you fail. If you get it right, you're an overnight success. All you got to do is get it right one time, and you're that overnight success. You know, I sold powder milk, and that was a disaster. I had my senior year project at Indiana was opening up a bar that got closed because of a wet t-shirt contest with a 16-year-old. That was a disaster, but that was good because it kept me out of the bar business. I got fired from my first job in the software business because I wanted to close the deal instead of going out and closing a sale. I mean, instead of coming in and sweeping the floor, you know, and so it didn't matter how many times I failed.
Do everything you can to survive and not to give up. You know, as long as you tried everything you can, then if you fail, you'll sleep okay, and you'll pick yourself up, and you'll learn. You know, when things are better, you'll learn from your mistakes, and you'll start again. Big, you know, multi-millionaires and billionaires who've been through 2 or 3 bankrupt companies in their lives, and have learned from them and have come back the stronger.
You know, willingness to fail is critical for invention. Willingness to be misunderstood for long periods of time. You know, most inventions don't really work that well in the beginning.
I'm not happy, but I'm okay taking a loss once in a while. And I've never been scared to take those losses.
I think for everybody, in order to be successful, there are 5 steps that you go through, essentially. That everybody has their goals. What is their goal and the passion? So you have goals. And then what happens is you're going after your goals, and you encounter your problems. Okay, so encountering problems. And then the big difference between people is how they approach those problems. People who get bummed out by the problems don't learn from them. Who learns from them? So those who recognize that problems are exciting, that they get into those problems or mistakes. Mistakes are learning experience.
Every athlete will tell you they fail more times, many more times than they succeed. And how many times do boys ask out girls and they get no? Just keep swinging the bat. You'll hit it sooner or later. Everybody's failed. You know who's failed? Henry Ford, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg. Everybody said, I fail every day. But the thing that makes you win is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
It requires failure. As Tom Watson, IBM's founder, once said, the way to accelerate your success is to double your failure rate. I have always tried to make everyone aware that failure is not a corporate death sentence. To punish failure is yet another way to encourage mediocrity, because mediocrity is what fearful people will always settle for.
I've failed way more times than I've succeeded. If I fail more than you do, I win. Because built into that lesson is this notion that you get to keep playing. If you get to keep playing, that means you get to keep failing. And sooner or later, you're going to make it succeed. The people who lose are either the ones who don't fail at all and get stuck, or the ones who fail so big they don't get to play again.
And the reason why people think small and why they choose small little goals is because they're afraid to fail. They know that if you shoot for a big goal, then the chances of failing are very high. And they're afraid of failing. It's one of the most common things why people are frozen and why they can't make a move in life, because they're scared of failing. I say to myself, hey, I'm not worried about failing because that's part of life. You're not going to go and win everything. And how far can you fall? Look at this. This is the ground. That's as far as I can fall. And you know something? That the only time you really consider the failure is if you fall and you don't get up. But if you get up, you never consider the failure. So I never considered myself a failure. I always considered myself a winner, even though I fell every so often. But I always got up and I always moved forward.
When I grew up, my dad used to encourage my brother and me to fail. So I would come home from school and sit at the dinner table, and my dad would say, "Kids, what did you fail at this week?" And if I didn't have something to tell him, he would be disappointed. So if we weren't failing enough in our home, it meant we weren't trying new things.
The most empowering lesson that I have learned is failure is okay sometimes, and in that we grow and we learn from that.
You know, the first several years of FUBU, it was really hand-to-mouth. You know, as I've said many times, that for the first 2 years, I had put 10 T-shirts out into the market and created this vacuum. But even prior to that, I had failed and closed down FUBU 3 separate times.
Give up something to get something. And I thought, I didn't have any money, so I had no phone. I painted my windows black, so I didn't know if the sun was up, the sun was down. All I knew is I had to write. And I wrote, and I wrote. It was very bad. It wasn't good at all. But every day, it was getting better and better, like a machine, like a muscle, until finally, the idea for Rocky came. So the idea is you must fail 100 times to succeed once. That's part of it. No one succeeds the first time. It's learning how to not get disappointed with failure, to understand failure. You only learn when you fail. You don't learn when you succeed. You know, you're too full of yourself. But when you fail, that's when you learn.
I think it is misleading to talk about success without also referencing failure. I know of no one who has achieved something significant without also, in their own lives, experiencing their share of hardship, frustration, and regret. So don't believe that something in your past prevents you from doing great work in the future. And like many of you, I've had my share of life's personal challenges and failures. But after many miles on my journey, I've recognized that each of these difficult periods of life passes, and with each we exit stronger and wiser.
We all know how to deal with success. It's how you deal with failure that's really the thing we should be teaching our kids. We should be having our kids. I was always glad when my kids didn't win the blue ribbon in the horse show to see how they could react for that. And one of the things that I always loved about both my daughters, they never came out of the ring crying. And there were a lot of kids that did. Now, I would suggest if they didn't win, don't go near them for a little while. They weren't all that happy. but they handled it well. They learned how to fail, and that's what is going to make them succeed.
Well.
Si vous avez aimé la vidéo, c'est simple. En premier, mettez j'aime à la vidéo si vous l'avez aimé. Et ensuite, abonnez-vous à la chaîne, ça signifie énormément pour moi. Et comme ça, vous recevrez automatiquement les nouvelles vidéos par mail. Si vous voulez aller encore plus loin et que vous avez vraiment apprécié énormément le contenu, vous pouvez aussi le partager aux personnes que vous connaissez autour de vous. Ça signifie énormément pour moi pour soutenir tout le travail que je fais à travers cette chaîne. Et je vous dis à très bientôt dans une prochaine vidéo. Ciao, ciao, bye bye.